We're going to build the interface to actually engage and use large language models. The user itself is going to define what data assets they want to bring in their environment. We're going to bring it into an environment that you can actually reason into it, build it into your large language model so that you can access it through a CoPilot type interface. And we're having conversations with many of the data providers around how they think about their data models and how their data models can fit in and being accessed into that workflow. We announced a 10-year partnership with London Stock Exchange. Part of that was we got a workspace desktop tool around analytics. They have one of the largest data providers with a refinitive data set. And that partnership is about actually how they actually combine their workflow, their data assets into Microsoft's infrastructure to actually make that seamless and actually drive different changes around what you can do and how advanced you can get in getting data and assets more quickly, right, around analytics.
What does the Worldwide Financial Services Group do?
My team is made up of individuals with deep industry experience. I come to the role leading it, having done 11 years in tech and then 23 years in banking and capital markets, and then now 5 years with Microsoft. Our team made up of individuals from technology, business, functional areas of banking, capital markets, and insurance companies. So we represent the voice of the industry back to Microsoft. And so we bring that voice back to our product teams to actually shape how we take our full cloud stack and actually make it fit for purpose for financial services. Work very closely with our partner organization that manages all of our software providers and first-party builders of a specialized software to build in our tech stack. Then we work with our tech plus our partners and our expertise, and then we work with our global enterprise sales force to work with customers in a solution-oriented way.
What are the ways you engage with companies in the derivative space?
We look at the industry, as I said, banking, capital markets, and insurance as an ecosystem. So Microsoft being a platform company, we're celebrating our 50-year anniversary of being a platform company, right? We're starting on the desktop and now in the cloud. We view ourselves as an enabler to the industry, which includes derivatives, financial market infrastructure providers, data providers, leveraging our tech to build their capabilities. And we reside in many institutions on the desktop, right, with Excel and PowerPoint and Office. And now we're residing in the data space using our technologies in the cloud around data, in the office space around calendaring and productivity. And in the collaboration space, so as many across banking, capital markets, and insurance are now collaborating using the Teams platform. And then now in the AI space. So the idea of bringing AI and generative AI through copilots in our product set is what the institutions are trying to learn how to leverage and take advantage of.
How are you using Teams to engage with the industry?
It starts in the workflow space, right? So when you think about collaboration internally in an organization, right, where you have an analyst or a relationship person or somebody who's seeking to actually think about ideating on a product or a workflow. So Teams can actually help be the platform of that collaboration internally in an organization. We're now extending that outside because now many institutions, counterparties, data providers, others are also all on Teams. As we built it vertically inside of institutions, now we're connecting the ability to have others find each other in the Teams network so you can communicate outside. That's been a big push in the industry for us because the industry wants better ways to make workflow easier, make ways to share information easier, to discover data, discover analytics. And so as the industry looks at Teams as a collaboration layer, Excel on the desktop, PowerPoint, Office, those are all environments that the industry all spends time in. And so what happens if now, your derivative products can show up in that workflow, or your data can show up in that workflow, or it can be embedded, or when you pull up Excel, there's information available. Or if you want to bring up data and analytics models and have the data show up in your cloud data environment. So we're building our technology stack to allow providers across banking, capital markets, insurance, and financial market infrastructure players to think about not having to build all that core platform stuff, but build on top of it, create alpha on top of it that way. And that's where we're getting pushed a lot to say, make it work in a way that we can do it in our regulated industry.
How are people using CoPilot?
Business decision makers are all looking at ways that they can do work more efficiently, right? Engage with each other, find information, share information back and forth. And now they're looking at, well, how can generative AI help me in doing that? The industry's been using AI for quite some time, right, around doing analytics and data science and pattern recognition and to support trading algorithms and ideas, methodologies, reasoning over data. But now the ability to interact with that in natural language, ask what you want to do, and to be able to get the answers that you were looking for or different points of view. We've got several kind of building blocks that we're allowing institutions to kind of leverage. So one, how do I bring generative AI into my enterprise environment so I can use all these wonderful large language? Because you got to do that in enterprise grade. It's got to be secure, compliant. Have Azure OpenAI where you can put that in the cloud, in the structure, bring models in, you control it. It's not training any other outside model. So that's how you set up the idea if I want to use a large language model that I built or open source large language model. So that's one area. The other area is how do you take advantage of generative AI capabilities that are in our products, right? That are in 365. So you can reason over your inbox or reason over building something in Excel or creating a PowerPoint. CoPilot's, again, a way in product. You can leverage the technology. You can start to use it around productivity. Then we've given you a platform to actually build your own copilots, right? Something called CoPilot Studio, where you as a citizen developer or even professional developers can build copilots that you can reason with. And then now you can actually now extend that into agents. And so the idea of a copilot, which I'm interfacing with and asking it questions to do things for me, you now have agents that are now also can be autonomous. They can be doing things in the background, finding information, looking at different structures, looking at different hurdles in the market that you might be looking for, and giving you information back. Or agent that you can say, go do this for me. A lot of structure around having institutions understand how they can leverage the power of AI, large language models, but we're trying to give them a structure to do it in. So an interface, CoPilot as an interface to actually interface with in natural language, ask it things, trigger agents. The foundational layer, how do I manage all these models? Because the models are going to keep getting better. You want to have an infrastructure to say, for this use case, this is the right model, the right economics. So how do I manage that in an environment that your development and IT shop can manage for you? And then underneath that, how do you manage your data structure? So you have data in all kinds of places. How can you actually have a holistic view around what that data looks like so you can reason over it to actually put your analytics and your AI on top? So that structure is what we're talking to a lot of companies about how to take advantage of.
Are you working with the clearing side?
A lot of opportunity on the settlement and clearing side around making that much more seamless, making it much more straightforward and digital, and also looking at information around that process as well, because there's a lot of valuable information around what that might mean in terms of meaningful data sets as well. So yeah, we're looking at a lot of post-trade opportunities around digitization, movement to cloud. There's a particular move over into what that means in terms of digital assets and what that means around tokenization of those assets as well. So yeah, we're doing a lot of work in that space too. And as you can imagine, workflow is a big part of that.